What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the divide in the fandom for Gotham Knights. Now, I did a video about a month ago, or almost a month to the day, and it's when they were doing the character videos, right? They showed Robin at the time. And in the video, I talked about, is the game turning a corner? Is the game turning around in terms of, at least, I guess, my opinion of the game? Now, I'm going to, of course, talk about what I think of it so far and as this entire saga has unwinded. But I also want to talk about what I've seen online, because I truly mean this. This is one of the most split games I've maybe ever seen. And I'm not saying like it's unfair to the game. Like that's not who I am, right? You can have literally any opinion on this game that you want. I'm not saying like, oh, woe is the game. The game did it to itself. It's DC, so you expect DC, if Spider-Man looked kind of iffy, right? You would expect there to be quite the divide. You'd expect there to be fighting within the group. And, so it's kind of like a product of what it is, right? So in terms of my own opinion, I will be flat out honest. I've been turning around. I guess I think I always was more like 50-50 on the game. I was always going to get it from the first day, from the first rumors that we heard of any of these Arkham Legacy and all this stuff. From all of that time, I always was intending to buy the game. So I was always going to get Gotham Knights, even from DC Fandom 2020. The Batman Dead thing knocked it down a bit, and I would say this game, really up until the last couple months, has just been another game. It's been a game I've covered a lot. It's a game that I'm passionate about, and again, like, I will be playing it, but it's not a game that's like blown my socks off like some others have done. I've always said, in terms of even my most anticipated games of the year, Gotham Knights was never in like the top two. I'd say like Hogwarts, God of War, those would probably be my top two, really going back all the way to the beginning of the year. Maybe Horizon, but God of War and Hogwarts I really think would be my top two. So Gotham Knights never really cracked that. But I will say, as they've showed more, I still have concerns, and we've talked about those concerns, and we will continue to. But I actually feel like I'm warming up to the game. Now, that could be a general Alex thing, where, and I've said it before to people in videos on specific games, as we get closer to games or even select movies coming out, I tend to, you just get pumped. I mean, it literally is as simple as that. You tend to get more excited. Maybe you kind of forgive the shortcomings, of the specific thing. And I feel like that's kind of where I'm at. Like, they're showing a lot more. I will say, by doing it in the length that they have, and obviously IGN first, I do think has helped. Like, it has highlighted more of the strengths of the game that we haven't exactly gotten over the last 2 years, right? The weaknesses are still there, and honestly, even in like the 16-minute gameplay, you can see kind of new weaknesses that maybe you didn't know about or you didn't think about, let's say. But I mean, again, like, you're seeing things that we wanted to see. You're seeing strengths that, again, were not emphasized really at all in the last 2 years. So that's where I'm coming from. Now, again, the thing that I find fascinating, and again, I truly mean this, it's fine. I'm not saying anybody's one side's right, one side's wrong. This game gets so much love, and then this game gets so much hate. On Twitter, on YouTube, on their own videos, on my videos, everywhere. Everywhere this game is very divided. And I will say, right, while I don't care, I think it's kind of fun to see a game, have such a split thing. It's probably not what you want. I think I've probably said that before. I think I've said that for like The Last of Us Part 2, right, where it's like, it's fine if people hated that game, and it's fine if people love the game. The issue is, if you're Naughty Dog, if you're Sony, if you're looking at the property of The Last of Us, right, I don't think you want one of your highlight franchises to be a split thing. Like, where half the audience hates you, right? I just don't think that's probably good for the brand. And I think Gotham Knights, honestly, it's probably the same thing. Like, it's going to sell. It's probably going to make money. I don't know if it'll recoup like 9 years of them not making a game in between Arkham Origins, but it depends on how much they want this game to do, right? But I do think this game is going to sell, whether it's great, whether it's okay. I mean, if it's bad, it'll probably sell well initially, and then word of mouth will kill it, right? So I guess it could go multiple ways, but I do think it'll like do well in terms of sales, and maybe that's enough for them. But I also don't know if they look at this and say, well, ideally, we wouldn't want half the fan base to have dropped off when they heard that Batman was dead. So you are, and again, like, I'm exaggerating, okay? Hyperboles are things that I like to do. I don't know if it's exactly half. I do know factually, right, that several people, I think you can at least make that safe prediction, several people jumped off when they said Batman was dead. When that first trailer was shown and Batman starts it and then he's dead, and it's like, oh, well, you just lost, I don't know, 20%, 25%, 10%. You just lost part of your audience literally with that decision alone, right? Not great. Not great. And then the game itself, you're just fracturing it. So, does every game do that? I would honestly say to an extent, yeah. Probably every game in a major decision that the game makes, you are either going to gain or lose people based off of like one specific thing. So, like, I get it. It's just, again, I don't know if you would like to see this. And I think that's pretty fair to say. I don't think Warner Bros. Now, they'll never say, right? WB Montreal. Maybe they can say in like 10 years. I'd like to kind of talk to them and be like, were you worried 10 years ago, when you were going through all this stuff of like, man, a lot of fans just hate this. And I mean like fans of the property, fans of the Arkham games, gaming fans, like people that are going to buy games and that you hope to have as customers, right? Like, I'd like to know those questions. It's like, are they worried? I don't know if they're worried. In fact, if you're a game developer, I would imagine like your head is down, you're working on the game, you're hoping that people like the game that you're making, and that's kind of, you don't have time to worry about, what I mean? You can do that after, right? Because if you're working the 60 to 80 hours a week, you don't have time for that. But it's not something that's ideal, but it is what it is. And like I said, I've covered a lot of different games, and I'm not pretending like I'm into as many different games as I am for like Gotham Knights, but I've seen these different communities, and Gotham Knights is one of the most split in terms of gaming that, I'm not saying it is the most split. It's one of the most split I've ever seen. So while me personally, I have like come around to it, at the same time, I was never like negative. Like I made negative videos, or I made critical videos where I talked about things that I had problems with, right? But I was never like, oh, this game is going to be complete trash. Like that was never me. I never have made a video saying that, right? So I was never completely off the wagon, and then I jumped back on because like they won me over the last 2 months. You know what I mean? Like, so that was my situation. I was always like, it'll be a game. It's a game that releases factually, and it's going to have good and it's going to have bad. And then as time has gone on, it has actually impressed me more than it's upset me, right? But I don't think it's that way for everybody. In fact, I've seen people, when they've shown the 16 minutes, that actually ruined it for some people. I'm out. The game looks bad in this way or that way, so they left. And again, like, that's going to happen for any game, but it's just, again, it's interesting because it's Gotham Knights. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on. If you want to follow or support me anywhere else, all my social media, including our Patreon and YouTube memberships, are in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.